Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we have Mr. Smith.
Oh, yeah!
First, we're going to kick off with one of his songs. This is Mr. Smith and Never Too Late. Boom.
Round and round we go, where the loop stops, no one seems to know all the things we do, but we don't want to. When it's all just on repeat, you keep on walking the same streets. All the things we do, but we don't want to. So take it when it's there. You know nothing lasts forever. So take it while you can. It might not be there for long. It's never too late. It's never too late to change. Round and round again. We don't know the rules, but we play the game. All the things we do, but we don't want to. When it all goes round and round, you keep on walking the same ground. You keep going forward, but you're going nowhere. So take it when it's there. You know nothing lasts forever. So grab it with both hands. It might not be there for long. It's never too late. It's never too late to change. So take it when it's there. You know nothing lasts forever. So take it while you can. It might not be there for long. It's never too late. It's never too late to change.
Hello. Welcome to the show. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS. This is the Friday edition of How to App. Thursday for most of you living in the past, where I live in the future. Yes, yes, yes. That was Mr. Smith opening up the show Never Too Late. What an awesome song, huh? The perfect song to get you all moving and grooving and shaking and blooving and whatever words I make up right now. It doesn't really matter. Oh, yeah. Boom.
Boom.
We got a great show. I hope it's going to be great because I never know what's going to happen on these shows. It's all just made up on the spot, yeah? But thank you all for joining me today. 31 people already here. This Mr. Smith character, he's a bit of popular, yeah? I think so. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. It's going to be good fun, lots of cool music, lots of interesting stuff about to happen. But first, I need to let you know some important information because today's show is sponsored by these people, DistroKid. If you want to put your music out there to all of the places like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and Tidal, and there's so many places you can get your music out, you need to do it through DistroKid because they are the easiest, the best, and the cheapest place to do it. Starting at $19.99 a year, you can release unlimited albums, unlimited singles, as many as you want, all through the year. And it's wicked. You get a Spotify check mark. You get to collect earnings and split split money if you're doing collabs with people as well. You can split the money with the other artists who work on your songs. You can upload lyrics all for $19.99 a year. And if you use this up here, see that? DistroKid/VIP/Jade Starr. At your checkout, you will get 7% off your first year. So it does really help if you are going to sign up. Use my code, folks. It helps me, helps the channel, helps me keep doing these amazing interviews. And also, there are 2 other tiers if you have 2 bands. Yeah, $35.99 a year, and you get a whole lot of other features there. Thanks, Thomas, for putting the link in there for me. You rock, Thomas Christ. And if you've got a whole lot of bands, you can do the $79.99 a year, and you get 5 artists, which is what I use because I'm greedy. I like having multiple bands. And I've been with DistroKid, I think, since 2016. Yeah, and I love them. Not only are they great for my music, but they are fantastic sponsors of this show and the other show that we do, which is happening this weekend as well. So just to let you know before we move on, this is happening on the weekend, sponsored by DistroKid as well. Yes, Robin Cheyenne is performing live here on the channel for a 45-minute set, so make sure you remember to come over and check that out again. DistroKid make it all happen. Thanks, DistroKid. We'll talk more about DistroKid as the show goes on. Boom. Oh, yeah. All right, so now, some of you may have come across this person. I expect many of you will have come across this person. The man in the mask. Yeah, not the man in the mirror, the man in the mask. And I'm sure there's lots of questions you want answered to find out who exactly this human being is. Some of you have done collabs with him, and some of you are going to do collabs with him in the future. And he's got his own original music out too. And we're going to find out how all that came about. Let me just make sure everything's working on this end. He's still on the end of the line. There he is. He's still there. I can't see if he's smiling. He's got his face covered. We'll just have to guess. Let's bring you on, shall we? You all excited, folks? Let's bring on, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Smith. Where is he? Click the button, do the thing. Here he is. Let's go.
Hi.
Hello. How you going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm all right. I'm okay. Thank you first for joining us here today.
Bless you. Thank you.
Do you do many of these?
I have never done this before in my life. This is a first. This is really weird.
You're telling me I have to do it every day. It still feels weird.
How do you do this and feel normal?
I don't know. I sit in a room and I talk to a wall. It's a bizarre concept.
I've put you behind the camera just so that I can actually get some sense that I'm, having a conversation with somebody.
I'm always looking off to the side because there's too much going on here in the studio. We got so many people here, Mr. Smith. There's so many people. We're up to 33 people. And Lily Pilly says, show us your bits. We've got people saying, I see his eyes. Yes, folks, he's got eyes. Can you believe it? Look, there he is. He's got eyes.
Hello. Hi. Hi. Hi.
So you kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. I remember just being, doing the thing, doing the shows and hanging around the community. And all of a sudden, here you were. How did you find this YouTuber sphere? How did you find this community of people who make music? Did you just fall onto it? How did you find this?
Okay. So about 2 years ago, I found Trey Xavier, Gear Gods. And he was doing a competition to win a Rev 150 amplifier, and it was send your song in, and it was getting judged on a live stream every Friday night, and eventually he picked a winner. He got 1,500 songs put into the competition, and I watched the entire thing for the best part of a year. And somewhere along that way, I came across Pete Johns.
Of course, the gateway drug.
Of course it is. It's Pete Johns, isn't it? I know. It starts with a beer and then you end up with Pete Johns. And the next minute you're streaming on the internet.
It's such a familiar story. People come across this little weird guy. I call him weird, and I know you're not weird, but I just like saying it, Pete. This little weird guy sitting there telling us all to make music on our iPads and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, here we are with all these other weirdos like me.
Yeah. Well, I just got the idea as well. When I saw Pete do that Foxy Lady,
Yeah.
I just thought, hang on a minute, I can make this a band. And that's how it started. That was it.
Yeah, so you took his song from his it was from a live stream, wasn't it? And then you added some drums to it and sent it back and went, here you go, you weirdo. I've done some drums for you. And,
I actually sent it back to him and I said, I sent him an email and I think it said something like, "Hi, Pete, you don't know me, but you're now in a band with me." And here's your first video. Yeah, and I sent him a link and it was uploaded and ready to go out, and that's how he found out.
That's the best.
It caused a bit of a ripple, you know.
Yeah, that's how you want to start a band. I wish starting bands was that easy for all of us. Somebody just messaged you out the blue, "Hey, I've made a video clip. We're good. Let's go." Man.
If only it was that easy.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the one thing I will say. I've worked in bands for years, all my life. I've done nothing else but music. Let's get that out of the way straight away. Done music all of my life. I refuse to do anything else, basically. Call it stubborn, call it what you want. And I have worked with every kind of band on the planet. And it's in the same room, it's a total nightmare. It can have good times, of course it can. But most of the time, you've just got 4, 5, 6 egos all clashing together in the same space, all wanting to be louder than everybody else, and no project manager. And it's a total nightmare. Whereas this, with the internet and the way we're connected now and the way we can work with each other and be comfortable in our own spaces, do our own thing, but still come together and produce something that ends up being bigger than the sum of its parts at the end of it. It's amazing. We live in the best times ever. We live in some shit times for some things, but we live in the best times ever, I think.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, I like yourself, I've played in many, many bands and know those dynamics. And you know, I think about, before the bad times, before the C word and all that. Even my friend, our friend Cold Acre, like he's still doing rehearsal rooms. I think of a rehearsal room these days and just shudder and go, "Oh, really? I have to pay $50 to go stand in a room with a shit PA with a bunch of guys I'm going to end up fighting with? Oh no, it sounds like shit."
Yeah. And everybody turns up and they've not practiced.
No,
so
never.
You get into the rehearsal room and they don't have a clue what they're doing. So they want you to practice through it with them. I'm good for that. You know, I'm good for that. Thanks.
And it's interesting.
Do your practicing at home and then come to a rehearsal room and rehearse.
Yeah. Just nail it.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than writing a new song in a rehearsal room too. Oh God, I used to get frustrated with that. Like, you know, we had Billy Gould from Faith No More on, and their band really is renowned for thriving off the tension. And one of my old bands, Despise, we were the same because we were very similar to like Mr. Bungle, very different artists, and we all hated each other pretty much. We didn't get along, but our music was sick. And people would go, "How come you don't get along?" And it's like, because we're so different. That's why our music's so unique, you know. And it's really hard to maintain those relationships. But sending stuff via Dropbox is a totally different experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And to be honest, everybody's so nice with each other because I don't know, when you get into a band sometimes you've got this sort of false loyalty thing that goes on. You know, you kind of, I don't know, you've joined a club, and then what happens as soon as people let each other down in this club, because it's this real close personal relationship, it messes things up.
Yeah.
And it causes all sorts of problems. Whereas working like this with sending files back into, people genuinely want to work with each other and they can take whatever time they need. It's perfect.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit you with the first question I slam everybody with, usually. Mr. Smith, what does music mean to you?
There is nothing else.
And
full stop.
That's it. It's true, man. There is nothing else. I
know that's not much of an answer, but yeah, that's what it comes down to for me. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
I know people, don't get me wrong, you know, but music is just everything. That's it. I don't game. I don't watch TV. I don't bother with the newspapers, radio. Don't bother. I like mixing with and listening to new creators all the time. I don't listen. I've got albums from way back when, from my childhood all the way back. I've still got the same albums, but I'm constantly loving finding new music. What a buzz! There's no bigger buzz to me. That buzz hit me the first time I heard Peter Gabriel plays live. Oh, it was a different experience that like I'd never had. Took me to a different place. Did something strange to me. And I still get that now from new songs that I can find as part of our communities. That blows my stack. I think it's just incredible.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've, many of us have gone through the many stages of music. So the many ways we can buy music, from cassettes to albums, CDs, now digitally. And with each iteration of music to listen to, it seems easier to get more music. But at the same time, it's really harder. Now that we have so much choice with digital streaming, there seems to be just so much choice that it can get a bit overwhelming. And now that I've found this community and we're all kind of in this little bubble on the internet, all of my collection is all these people that are here in the chat, and it's so bizarre. But I'm getting more music come to me than having all this huge choice. So for all the technology in the world of digital streaming, this little YouTube thing's just been so much more valuable for getting music. And I feel bad for younger people, how they're finding music. No wonder they're all on TikTok.
Well, yeah, but there is something happening in the world. I mean, there's a dumber form of revolution. Kids, apparently, between 18 and 21 around the world are starting to dump smartphones and go back to dumb phones because they're realizing that it doesn't really give them much in the end. And when you've got everything in front of you, like you've just said, when you've got all the choice in the world, you don't know what you want. Yeah. Sometimes it's a lot better to have nothing in some senses, Yeah. And then you really target what you do then. You make an informed choice rather than just a million choices in front of you that you don't know what to decide from. When you put that down and then you consciously decide to do something, it's different. Your whole perspective is different. Your drive is different. And usually the end result is massively different as well.
Yeah, and I guess too, having things on demand, it's such at the tip of your fingertips, has created like a division of people. There's a lot of people out there who they have everything at their fingertips, and now they've got used to wanting everything fucking now. And when they don't get it now, they get so upset. It's like, but I need it right now. It's like, yeah, but you might have to wait 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yep. And people just freak the hell out. And it's like, what is the deal? Like 10 minutes. Back in my day, we used to have to walk 2 million kilometers to get to school during the snow.
Hi, Gladys. Hi, Gladys.
Oh, sorry, get back in your box, Gladys. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I come from a world where sometimes, so I might be doing an album project, and the album project could be taking 8 months. And I might retrack the drum track 7 times before the drum track's right.
Yep.
I don't go and get a loop from Easy Drummer. There's a place for that. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic tool that can really help. But sometimes, you just replace, record it again. You've just got to do it. But the end result then is worth it. It's not some instant gratification thing,
Yeah. It's not like watching Pornhub or anything like that, is it? That's instant gratification these days. But recently I put out that Peppertoe album, which was done like 20 years ago.
Oh,
and I talked about
so good.
Well, thank you. But I talked about recording that, and the guy who engineered that, seriously, man, one of those songs took an entire day where he was in front of me and I was behind him in front of a microphone, and I'd go sing the line and he'd go, nah, do it again. Nah, do it again. Nah, I swear it had to be like 250 takes. And by the end of it, I was behind him like with my fist clenched going, one more time, dickhead. I'll just punch you in the back of the head. But you listen to the product and go, oh,
Yes.
oh, right, I get it. You know, in the
Yes.
moment, I was so impatient and was just like, no, good things take time. Relax. You know?
Yeah. And you know yourself, when we listen to all these classic albums, these things took sometimes years to produce.
Yeah.
With decisions going back into and saying no, sometimes entire tracks been removed, just deleted. It's not good enough. Leave it. Come back to it, and then they end up as a classic album because there's been so much. I think would it be artistic care put into it, which I think this modern world that we live in, where you've got this instant gratification thing, there's not so much artistic care goes into some stuff, maybe, and that's why things can be a little throwaway. But the classic albums that we listen to, they all contain this magic. Well, it's just about that precision, I think, and attention to detail sometimes, which needs patience.
Yep. Got to have patience. Axl Rose said it best. Oh, indeed, it's just a little patience.
Did he say it best, really? Axl Rose, is that the best we've got?
In that song. Everything else he said was rubbish.
He's gonna be the spokesman for humanity. Oh my God.
The world's gonna end. It's gonna be oh my God. What's Axl Rose is going to become the president of the United States next, and
probably,
and he's going to like
wait. Unreasonable.
All we need is just a little. That's going to replace the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if something like that happened.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, It
wouldn't. Well, we live in upside down world, so anything's possible,
Exactly.
Man, he was out here recently. Guns N' Roses were out here recently. They played a gig, and he threw a mic.
Totally.
He threw a mic into the audience, and it hit a woman in the head and split her head open.
I saw it.
Yeah.
What's happening? Is he getting taken to court for it
No,
and stuff?
no, he got out of it.
All right, okay.
It was all like he got out of it. They just made it.
The stars get away with it again. Yeah.
He said it was part of the show, and if it hit her head, like that's her fault for her head being in the way.
Okay, yeah. So like, what you park your car in the car park, but you leave it entirely at your own risk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his exact statement was, "All you need is just a little patience." Anyway, look, that brings me to the next question. Speaking of, classic albums and stuff, the music. Okay. Do you recall growing up in Mr. Smith's household, in the Masked household? By your parents, what was the music some of your parents would play in the house when you were younger?
Strangely enough, I've just put one of them out, Moving Out by Billy Joel. My mum was a big Billy Joel fan, but Billy Joel, ELO, Frank Sinatra, Cole Porter. I remember distinctly Phil Spector's Christmas album was a big thing. I know.
I love that.
But the production, it's the production, isn't it? That's what it's about. It's the songs were good. I hate Christmas songs, Jade. Oh, do I hate Christmas songs?
So do I.
But that album has a sound that came out of the speakers. It was an experience. It blew me away, that sort of stuff. And then Frank Sinatra, it's
brilliant.
It's amazing. And the arrangements behind it as well. And then when ELO as well, from my mum, is there anybody better than him at putting that big sound together? And it drew me into this world of production.
Man, they made that Xanadu album. Oh, man, the ELO, that song, Don't Walk Away. Oh, God, every time I hear it, I cry. It's such a freaking amazing song. Respect. Booyah!
Yeah, I saw Russ showing some albums. So, Electric Light Orchestra, Out of the Blue. What an album.
Yeah.
Gatefold,
Oh, man,
the thing's just magic. Magic.
What do you think about this whole vinyl revolution coming back? Do you think it's a healthy do you think it's going to catch fire?
Honestly, do you want my honest opinion?
No, you can bullshit me if you want. I don't care. It's your choice.
I think it's a pile of shit, to be honest. I think it's a waste of time. music got to, when we got to 2020 on CD, 16-bit, 44.1, the human ear can't tell anything after that. And that was as good as it got. So why go back? Why go back to a record that's a bit scratchy? And people talk about warmth. It's not warmth. Vinyl, once you've played a record once, you don't get a frequency above 8 kilohertz out of your vinyl.
Yeah.
So that's what they interpret as warmth. Well, it's not warmth to me. It's just bugger all top end. So
why do you think it's resurging? It can't be for the quality. Is it nostalgia?
No. Yeah, it's a fad, isn't it? Look, it the same way flared trousers come back every 8 years, don't they? You know?
Oh, well, man, not flares.
It's the same thing. It just keeps coming round and round and round, doesn't it? You know, we've seen it.
Disco.
So it'll come back round and then it'll get binned again, you know?
Yeah, the 20-year loop.
Yeah, of course.
Disco,
and
flares.
As well,
yeah.
I think we live in a world now where we all can recognize that the quality of some things previously. So, for example, I've got vinyl that was pressed in the 70s, and the quality of that plastic now, it's just not even close to the same when you get it pressed now. Because I work with bands all the time who are still pressing vinyl, but you get it back and it's just kind of garbage comparatively.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long this stuff's going to last as well.
Yeah, it feels like it's nostalgia. And, you know, I know throughout the years of CD, one of the major things people always go back to is the album artwork, being able to open that up. That was a big thing. If you could put a CD in a whole vinyl cover, it'd be fantastic. You know, I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I mean,
why not?
Yeah. But it seems to be the thing. Like, I was even looking at a vinyl press the other day, going, wow, how cheap are they now? And I found a cheap one, but for the price, it was just as what you would expect. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. You know, there is a resurgence. I mean, you know, I do apps here every day on the show, and there is a huge, like, love for apps that warp and put scratches and put all this dirt and grit into your songs. So there is this nostalgia of people want that in their songs. And I mean, lo-fi is a style of music that's come along and
of course
does that. So it's bizarre what people want.
The thing is, that's a production decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you decide when you're building the track, so you've got your kick drum and your snare drum and your bass and your keyboards and all your stuff stacked up, and you think, well, okay, I need to give it some texture. So you put some noise into it that's maybe a vinyl hiss or some white noise or something, some static or some glitches. Well, that remains a permanent part of that track.
Yep.
But vinyl doesn't do that. Vinyl changes every time you play it. So the pop that is there today might not be there tomorrow. So it's a different thing to me. It's a totally different ballgame. It's kind of nostalgia taken too far into what I'm making it sound like a vinyl. Well, you're not. You're kidding yourself. You know, a vinyl sounds like a vinyl, and you can only go so far to imitate something, but it's still just not a vinyl. You know.
And look, for people who are mastering, it adds a whole nother load of challenges, because I don't know if people understand, and I'm sure you understand how vinyl is pressed. Today's music can't be pressed in vinyl with the way we engineer it and mix it, because there's too much bass in it. And when you lathe an album, if there's too much bass, the grooves in the album become really bad, and the needle skips out of it, and it ends up all over the record. So you've got to pull back all of the bass, heaps of the mids, and you've got to make it sound like an AM radio for it to go on the lathe. Yeah. So you basically have to do a complete remaster, pull all the bass, and make it sound like total trash for it to go on an album. Correct. So, but a lot of normies, people who don't understand mastering, would not have any idea of that. Would just go, oh, I'm going to put this on an album, send through the thing they released on digital distribution, and then they get the album back and it sounds like caca.
Correct. Correct. It's a black art. Most people don't realize that when you're mastering for vinyl, everything under 200 gets summed to mono. Yeah. So it wrecks all of your guitar imaging and your any bass imaging that you've done in it, especially keyboards. It really interferes with keyboards. So the amount of people that don't have a clue what they're doing and get it stamped, like you say, and get it back and it sounds terrible. So I just think, oh, all right, get the cover done so it looks nice. But like you say, put a CD in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I'm going to play a song. And because we mentioned this, and I know I won't get a claim for it because I mastered this song and I mastered it on my Patreon and I played the song about 3 times on my Patreon, didn't get a claim. So, which is amazing because this song, this Billy Joel song, sounds exactly like the original. How can I don't get it. I don't get it.
I was brought up with this since I was, I don't know, that it's one of the first things I remember hearing, Jade. So it's been with me all of my life. I know it intuitively, you know. So, and I waited and waited and waited to do this cover because I needed people who could do it. I needed Jason Lemansky. I needed Laurie on keys. I needed somebody like Hugh on the guitar who could handle it sensitively because it's a really, when you listen to the arrangement, each part plays its own little bit, but it does it so well that you need it to be like that.
Yeah.
You can't deviate really. And I waited for ages to do it. And I feel blessed to have got Laurie and Jason and Hugh to do it. And then you mastering it as well was just the icing on the cake because it came back. It sounded amazing.
Oh,
honestly.
it's brilliant. Amazing. And if you haven't heard it, guys, you're going to hear it now. And let's just play it. Grab a drink, relax, folks. We got another hour and a half of all this fun to come. And let's do it. And we'll see you back here shortly. As Hippie would say, boom. Oh, it's not very loud. Boom, 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 boom. You get a few of them. There you go. You got a few booms. Let's do it. Moving out.
Grocery store, saving his pennies for someday. Mama Leone left a note on the door. She said, "Sonny, move out to the country. Oh, 'cause working too hard can give you a heart attack. You ought to know by now. Who needs a house out in Hackensack? Is that all you get for your money? And it seems such a waste of time. That's what it's all about. Mama, if that's moving up, then I'm moving out. Yeah, I'm moving out. Ooh, oh, ooh. Sergeant O'Leary is walking the beat. At night he becomes a bartender. Works at Mr. Cacciatore's down on Sullivan Streets, across from the medical center. And he's trading in his Chevy for a Cadillac. You ought to know by now. If we can't drive with a broken back, at least he can polish the fenders. And it seems such a waste of time. That's what it's all about. Mama, if that's moving up, then I'm moving out. Yeah, I'm moving out. Ooh, 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 oh, ooh. You should never argue with a crazy mama. You ought to know by now. You can pay Uncle Sam with the overtime. Is that all you get for your money? And it seems such a waste of time. That's what it's all about. Good luck moving up, 'cause I'm moving out. Yeah, I'm moving out. Ooh, oh, oh.
Yeah. Moving out. Brum. All right, calm down, Craig. Relax. They're rowdy. I put them back in a cage after the show. Look, this. I'm not gonna piss in your pocket or nothing, but I've been around this little community for a little while now, and I've watched so many people grow and collaborate, and people are getting better and better and better, and that's why I do this show every day. I want people to get better and better and better, and rub shine off on the people as much as I can. But there's just something about every time you collab with somebody that it goes up a level. You bring some magic, my friend. So take the compliment, deal with it. All right, but I can that was an incredible cover, I've seen a lot of covers come and go throughout this community, and that was nailed on so many levels. And I'm sure everybody here was saying that in the chat. So much love. Not a really easy song to nail as well. Billy Joel's a super talented artist. And just every beat was hit on that. It's like last night, I put up an Instagram post advertising today's show, and I put up the original song as backing music for that little Instagram story. And I couldn't tell the difference. I couldn't tell the difference, man. Very, very impressive stuff. So there's that. All right, I'm going to stop licking your ass now.
He's beautiful, though. Thank you. Honestly, it's lovely.
Tastes delicious.
Yeah.
You cleaned it for
like a little peach.
I know. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody who's here in the chat. I want to thank you all for being here. Guys, make it easy for me. Just spam the chat with something so I can find your name and say hello to you all. Andrew Jackson Music, PJ Kobe, Laurie's Mishmosh, Charles Wagner, The Mix Club, Megan's here, Chris Lane Sr., Cold Acre, Folk Punk, Helen Fret Fumbler, Sith Vasquez, Audible Video, let me scroll down and you guys are making it easy for me. Robbie Stingle, Kim Harden Hudson, Zach Thong, Joe and Barry Glenn, Gary Hubbs, Hugh Caldwell, FPC, Fat Panda Cat, Thomas Christ, Princess LDG, Gregory O'Sullivan, The Lily Pillies, Luriality, Russ 8889, Hetriani. What? Oh man, you got them all here. They're all bursting out scenes. Ivan Ideas even here. Ian's Guitar Shack. Hi, Ian. Who else? Conspiracy Music. What's going on? Clay. Valerie Bart is here. Of course she is. Poo Poo in My Diaper's even here.
Yes.
Poo Poo in My Diaper is here as well. Tremor Bear. Hello. Eric Seam is Siam.
Eric
Siam.
Wow, Eric.
Eric's
yes.
here. There we go. Thank you, Eric, for being here. Poo Poo in My Diaper's like, damn right I'm here. Where else would I be except in somebody's diaper? What is going on? Frank Terzo's here. Hello, Frank. Man, we got 43 people. Dude, you are killing it. Ed B. Metal. I think I've got most. I saw Pete Johns here earlier as well. I think did I say Brad? I know Brad's here as well.
Oh, the beautiful Brad.
The beautiful Brad. Everybody's here. Thanks, guys, for being here. Let's get on with it. If I've missed you, I do apologize. So, but we'll get on with what we got to talk about, because what are we going to talk about next? Do you remember the first album that was purchased for you as a gift, and the first album you purchased with your hard-earned pocket money?
Yes, I do, but I'm not telling you.
I knew you were going to do this, man.
I'm joking. So the first album that was given to me as a gift, I mentioned it before. It was Peter Gabriel Plays Live.
Yes, I just wanted to make
on
you repeat
cassette.
yourself. On cassette, yes.
On cassette.
Do you miss cassette?
Oh, yeah, I miss cassettes. Definitely.
Cassettes were good.
Yeah, there was something about the quality was still amazing. Still fantastic, especially if you got a good cassette and a good player. It was amazing. It's not far off CD, if I'm really honest. And a Walkman, there was nothing better than a cassette Walkman, because you just press play and left it.
Yeah.
And then you listen to an album. And I come from listening to albums. I don't like to pick individual songs and build playlists. I just put an album on. So Peter Gabriel Plays Live was, I don't know, it was, it took me somewhere else. It really did. It was a bit like a night at the theatre in my ears. and I heard this place that's where I want to be. That's what I want to be doing. That's me. That magical thing that's going on.
Yep.
And it had people like Tony Levin on bass, Jerry Marotta on drums, and David Rhodes on the guitar. I mean, just players that were off the chart good, but really sensitive as well, because Peter Gabriel's got these. If you know Peter Gabriel at all, he's got quite complex arrangements. The instrumentation's often a bit strange. It's a bit unusual. Tony Levin doesn't play a bass; he plays a Chapman stick, and he always gets interesting drummers as well. So he's got textures, and it's like a sonic experience rather than just presenting a song with a 5-piece band. And that drew me in. That had me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, he's really got that the same kind of vibe that Prince has. Just understands music and is always able to find musicians that accelerate what his visions are to the next level. Really underrated too. Like, Prince got Prince got all the glory in those days too. And I was like, dude, this guy is like, I remember the first time I heard Sledgehammer, I saw the video clip for it too on MTV and was just like, what the hell, man? Yeah. Not only is this song out of control, but like it was the first video I saw on MTV that was like crazy animation. His whole head was, it was mind melting. Doesn't get the praise he deserves. Absolutely.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, I've seen him live, 4 or 5 times, must be.
Yep.
Must be 4 or 5 times. And he's got some new stuff coming out just now as well. The next couple of months, there's a whole new project that's coming out. It's interesting as well what he's doing at the moment, because he's linked up with an artist and he's producing tracks that are in line with pieces of digital art. I can't remember the name of the artist, but there's these 12 digital works of art that are all linked to individual tracks.
Right.
I think he's released the first one now. Really interesting project.
It's called Panoptocum. Is that it? No. It looks like it's
to be honest, Jade, I don't know. I can't remember.
It looks like it's a piece of art.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so he's digital art for each song, and this is the first one.
Yeah, so it should be interesting because he's not done anything for quite a few years now.
Yeah, the last album was quite a while ago. Well,
Scratch My Back, he did. Scratch My Back was quite amazing because he did it with some minimalist composers, a little bit like a Steve Reich, Philip Glass style approach, but it was all covers of people's songs that he loved, done in an orchestral minimalist style. Beautiful, just beautiful. So yeah, he always does interesting stuff, and he's had me since the beginning. Basically, I've just been hooked all the way through. So I'm always keen to know what he's doing, and he's when I was talking before about album projects quite often taking a long time. Peter Gabriel's a good exponent of that. He has a particular technique as well. I mean, you can see there's a mixing desk over here. And what he does, I don't know if anybody knows this, but interesting trivia maybe for somebody. So when he's writing his album, he has his mixing desk. And above his mixing desk, he has a washing line, effectively, or maybe 4 washing lines.
Yeah.
And anything that he has throughout his day or that he thinks about that he's relating to a song or an idea, he clips it to the washing line. And it might be a photograph, it might be a lyric. And so his album is this set of items on a line. And basically what he does is he takes those and puts them into the music, basically.
Right.
So it's a fully artistic sort of formatting of this idea. So and it's a brilliant way to work because his albums are stunning.
He looks like a modern day conspiracy theorist, kind of.
It's a bit.
On the wall. The government's poisoning my brain with chemicals.
It's not that thing where there's red cotton between them. It's not Yeah, no, it all happened at Roswell. No, it's not that. It's not that.
I'm sure the sun's not real. It's a sun simulator. All that nonsense.
Yeah. What is it? The Arctic ice wall that we can't get past as well. It's flat, I tell you.
It is. It's as flat as my foot. Metalhead Hippie's joined us. Hello. I saw Hugh as well, who's I think I didn't call out. Anyone who I did miss. Welcome, Metalhead Hippie.
Boom.
There you go. There's a boom just for you.
Am I allowed to say hello to everybody in the chat as well?
Of course you are. You can do whatever you want. This is your time.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
Ooh,
whatever
easy
you
with that.
want. We're
Well, I've just got to say hello to everybody first. Just everybody that's turned up. I can't believe it. Thank you. Just wherever you all come from, and have you not got anything better to do with your time than this? But I really appreciate you being here. You don't know what it means. These communities, it doesn't matter who you are in the chat now, because everybody is just as equally important. And it doesn't matter what community you've come from or what you do or what skill that you bring to the table. You make my life better. Yeah. And my world is improved by being a part of these communities. And I hope eventually, if I can, to work with everybody in here, to do something with everybody, because we've only got each other. So let's make the best of it. And while we've got these communities, let's work together and let's make some great music together. So thank you to everybody for being here and taking the time. I really appreciate it.
We really appreciate you, my friend. And I know when I asked you on, you were like, why do you want me on? I'm like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
What? Like, I want you on the sponsored DistroKid show as well. No, because like you're very beloved. I know I've had the same experience. You reached out to me and said, hey, I really like this song that you're doing, Me and My Brain. And I've done some drums, and I've even got this here. I'm going to do this. Why not? So you sent me this, and I didn't know you really from Diddley Squat. And you'd just taken the song and just added drums to it. And I'm like, what is going on, man? Look at this. You know how pleasing that was to get that in a message and go, what? I haven't even finished this song yet.
Yeah, I think you were still writing it at the time of one of your episodes.
It's been written for a long time, but I was recording it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But
And I had to go back when that take that I did on there. I literally screen recorded that episode where you were working on it, and I had to zoom in and get the tempo that you were working to and find out all this stuff.
Yeah.
I was like a man possessed wanting to do it. So I worked to that little edit of what you played. I think you said at the end of the episode, I'll play the full track, which was just magic, because then I was able to do this.
it was such a massive surprise. And, you know, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. I can pull this down now. So we talked about this at the beginning of the show because I've been sitting on it for a little while. And, you know, we'll talk about it now because, let's turn this down. So you sent it to me and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This sounds so good. This is so much better than my drumming. And then Cold Acre, who's in the chat, started playing guitar on it. And when he added his guitar to it and I put his guitar to your drums, for some reason it just didn't work. It didn't sound right. But when we put his guitar on my drums, it sounded right. And we discussed this beforehand. It's just your performance it's so busy. You're such a better drummer than me, right? But it doesn't, and sometimes these things don't match because, you know, it's a vocally driven song. And you offered today to redo it and a bit more simply. And oh man, that's killer because I can't wait to release this song and to have you playing on it. Is going to make the song so much better. Cold Acre's done a kick-ass job on it too. So it's this song I'm really excited to release. You also sent me a video of your studio.
Yes, the old one.
Yeah, so you've moved out of that studio now, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. I had no choice. And then I'm going to be moving again soon as well. I've got to move a third time. But I think this time it's a bit more secure.
That sucks. Moving sucks. I know I have to do it very soon as well. I'm not looking forward to it. But look at this gear, guys. Do you want to tell us about, you know, this beautiful kit that you have here?
Yeah, that's actually a 1988 7-piece Pearl X book kit. Mainly PP Meinl cymbals with some others and some Zildjian. Or in fact, no, there's a Zildjian set of Zildjian A customs on the hi-hats 13s, and I think there's a Zildjian Sweet Ride, and then there's a couple of Stag Crashes, all with black suede heads on, Evans E-Mads on the kicks. Yeah, just a genuinely nice kit that I was lucky to get hold of, to be honest. And I think because your track needed a bit more toms and stuff, I thought at the time I set up the massive kit to do it. But when I come and do it now, if you want to, I can spin the camera around. Hang on. So, but you can see that lately I've been using a smaller kit.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to use this little kit that's here at the moment, which is just literally floor tom, snare, hi-hats, and a couple of cymbals. And I think, to be honest, your track will be done like that.
Yep.
So that it's not as fiddly. And yeah, it just got in the way. It got in the way of your vocals. And I mean, I meant to say this to you at the time. I think I said something to that effect at the time, but I always wanted to do it again. But at the time, the studio was kind of collapsing and things were just a bit too hectic. I never thought that drum track was good enough. It's just I was desperate to be on your track because I loved it.
That's
I just thought if I send it, maybe you'll let me do it.
Of course. I mean? No, but the thing was, it was too good. It was like, like the bands I've played with in the past too, I've always had really good drummers who just overplay, and like everybody in the band overplays, and because that was the style of music I used to do then. But now, as you get older, you start to get information from the more people you mix with, good producers and stuff, who give you the most valuable information you can get, and that is when you record everything, and then when you're mixing, pull a lot out of it. Take lots of it out and just start to rip it all out and be ruthless. Cut that shit out, because you start to end up with tracks like you're living in a house like a hoarder, and you're hoarding unnecessary stuff, and it just clogs everything. And this is why, so many pop artists do well. It's not so much that the song is like that amazing, but there is enough space in there to give the listener room to breathe, and then energy to come back for the chorus. What are your thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I mentioned earlier on Trey Xavier, and that's how I kind of came across Pete Johns, Ron Ward, yourself, Thomas Christ. But part of Trey's crew is, you mentioned it before, Eric Simey. Eric Simey is, without a doubt, one of the best producers I've ever heard. I don't know why he isn't producing for Grammy award-winning people. Maybe he is on the quiet, I don't know. But I don't think so, and he should be, because his production skills, what he'll do is, people should go and check this out, right? Firstly, so Audio Bros podcast. Go and check out Audio Bros podcast, because Eric and Charles Wagner as well. Charles, yay. Eric and Charles do something called song renovations. Now, it's obviously they can't take everybody's. They will choose who to do. But if you offer your song up, they might do a song renovation for you. And they will do what Jade has just been talking about for you. They will produce it, and they will quite often strip back the parts that are not necessary, or they will ask you to do more layers on the vocals or more harmonies or whatever. But they know their shit. And if you go through their channel and you watch what they've done with some people's tracks, you will have your mind altered. And what it will hopefully show some people is exactly what you've just said. Okay, in the beginning, throw the kitchen sink at it, throw all your ideas. But when it comes to the final production, quite often, you probably need half of the kick drums and half of the snare drums in it, and take most of the crash cymbals out. Just don't even use them. Pop music doesn't use crash cymbals anymore. But we all still put them in. So go and have a look at these guys, because they know what they're doing. And Trey Xavier as well. Trey led me to Eric for Audio Bros, but people should come and have a look at Trey as well, because you can send your track in and get it reviewed by Trey and the community there that we call the Gong Gang. You'll find out when you get there. It can be a little brutal for some people, but they're not mean by any means.
Yep.
There's a lot of good people in there, a lot of talented musicians, a lot of people who've got very good ears, and together this whole community brings people on. So, brilliant case in point, Andrew Jackson. Andrew, you are a beautiful man. Thank you. So, Andrew Jackson was a brilliant case in point. I met him in Trey's streams maybe 18 months back, something like that, 2 years. And he was submitting music for Trey to review and to give his feedback on. And then he was going back and working on that. Along the way, I think he bought Trey's songwriting course as well. And together then with Eric and a couple of other people, myself doing some drums for him, he produced his first single. Well, that journey from the start to him putting out his first single, produced by Eric, myself on drums, advised by Trey, Charles Wagner as well, and the Gong Gang as part of the community. But Andrew went back, took the criticism, put the work in, and came back better every time. If you were part of the journey, you'd be the same as me. You'd be proud to even have just witnessed it. Because sometimes it's hard to take criticism with music. When it's your baby and when you've drawn a nice picture and you want somebody to tell you that it's really nice. Well, okay, it's really nice, but maybe that bit could be better. That's kind of where it's at. And then eventually you'll produce a work of art. That's the idea. And you know yourself with mastering can make a huge difference.
Yep.
Which people tend to forget as well. So all of these things combined, people should go and check them out because it will lead to you improving, basically. They'll all help you.
And look, I'm not a master at mastering, but I tell you what, an important thing I find mastering is it helps if you like the people that you're mastering for. It really does. Because having somebody who actually likes you, it adds that little percentage on top that you care. You want it to be good. And hey,
I think that this relates to what we were talking about before earlier. When I'm talking about, the community, and you said yourself, you listen to people from the community now mostly. I think I've found this as well. The moment you start to have a bit of an attachment with somebody and you get to know them in the chat and a bit about the personality, and you start to appreciate the music from a different perspective as well.
Yeah.
And you feel more connected to it. So, I mean, I don't feel connected to Peter Gabriel in the same way that I feel connected to Andrew Jackson or Brad Example, because I can talk to Brad Example, but Brad Example's and Andrew Jackson's music has both moved me as much as Peter Gabriel, if you get the point I'm making.
Absolutely.
And I think it's nice. It's like the icing on the cake, being able to communicate with people properly between us all. And I think it's a great leveler as well. I've never liked music being a competition.
No.
There's
so many people who are still in this mindset. There really is, especially in the metal community. There's this real, I don't know, man. It's just everyone's got to outdo each other and try and have a better drum sound than the next person. It's like, you're all using the same samples, you cockheads. You're not going to sound any better. Just relax. I don't get that stuff.
When people come together, magic happens. Beautiful things happen. And then it's more than the sum of its parts. I've always said the same thing. So people have come to me over the years to record things. I've done all sorts of projects and bands and solo artists and stuff. And usually with vocals, it's always the same thing. The vocalist is a bit strange about getting in the vocal room. It's a bit of an expose. It's a bit difficult. And quite often they'll ask, how do I approach it? And I'll say, look, there's only one thing that matters with the music. It's about the spirit in which it's offered. So if you offer it up honestly, it will come across well. And that's all you need to do. Don't do anything else. Just offer it up honestly, and it will come across. Your music does it, Jade.
Thank you.
You hang it out there. You absolutely hang it out there. And that's the magic of it. There's a humanity in it that comes across way beyond what it doesn't matter what equipment you're using, what sound you're using. I don't care what your piano samples are. Sometimes you've made me bawl my eyes out. Just you doing something with the piano and singing. You did Me and My Brain acoustically a few days back. Wow, that was unearthly. And that was because it was just so real.
Thanks, mate. Thank you so much. But you're right, though. We've got lost in this, and I see it all the time. I see it with on these channels and people asking questions about mixing and performances and should I chop my breaths out in between like vocal? No, don't. Leave all of that in there. Leave every single bit in there because it's those moments that are captured to tape that we feel you breathe. We feel that you're alive. We feel the moment, what you're feeling. And if you chop that out, we're disconnected from it. Like, and it's like the old saying, sing it like you're naked and everybody's watching. Just fucking throw it all out there and just go for it. Because if you don't, you can hear it. You can hear when people are scared shitless or they're singing within themselves. You've got to play every part like you're yelling it from the rooftop going, I don't care what you think of me. I know I look ugly when I sing, but I don't care. Like you have to. Yes. And don't chop out those bits because you would know yourself. You record a guitar bit and then you do another guitar over the top and you played it slightly wrong. But when those two guitar bits are together, it sounds, for some reason, that bit sounds magical.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's it. I mean, so I don't know whether people won't know at this point, but I think there's you might be playing a new track that I've not put out yet at some point. And in this track, I did the vocal and the guitar as one take together, just live. And then I layered everything else up on the top of it. No click track, no nothing. I just played it because I felt it at the time. Now, I know that vocal isn't, I judge it a bit harshly myself. I'm not particularly happy with it in terms of there's bits of it that are a bit raggedy and it's not produced. But there's something in it. There's a feel, there was an attitude in the take where I'm not going to be able to replace that. I can't give that performance again in terms of how it came across. So sometimes you've got to let it go. You've got to give it up and we can all be our own worst critic. Don't be so hard on yourself, guys. Really, don't be so hard on yourself,
Yeah.
Put it out, hang it out.
Yeah, we live in a world where media's telling us that we suck. The magazines are telling us that we got to do this better. Politicians are telling us that everybody's telling us that we got to do better. Don't sit there and add more pressure to yourself. Just scream that shit. And speaking of, like, guys, hang around to the end, please, because we have a premiere at the end of this show. So your brand new track, which I got to master the other day, and it is... It's my favorite Mr. Smith track by far. It's so beautiful. I was in tears listening to it. I've watched it about 7 times. It's so wonderful. And thank you, Metalhead Hippie, for the super chat. Thank you so much. If you would like to super chat or super sticker, it does help the channel. I'm not begging. I'm just saying it because it's real and it does really help. So thank you so very much. I'm going to play another track and then I'll have to come back and do my contractual advertisement for the amazing DistroKid. But this is a song from somebody who's very dear to your heart. And tell us how this song with Valerie Butt came about.
Yeah, Valerie. Well, there you go. So, Valerie, hi, Valerie. Hope you're good. So, Valerie is one of the best examples of what I've just been talking about. Something real, something really real. Just one voice, one guitar. Doesn't matter what song, she makes it work. And she has a way of making music accessible as well. So I may upset some people with this, but I can't stand Bob Dylan. I can't stand him.
Me too, man.
Oh, just
Boo.
Bob, stop it. Just, I know you signed a deal with the devil or what it was, but just give it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go to hell already.
I know he writes great songs, and I know that'll probably upset Valerie a little bit, but anyway, Valerie has a way of making Bob Dylan songs accessible to somebody like me. So she brings like a new life to them, or she gives me a way into them where I can hear something different in the song and something that actually appeals to me, where Bob Dylan put me off just with his presentation of it. So having watched Valerie for a little bit, and then I saw her do that song, Sweet, Sweet Time. Now, the thing that struck me was how in time she was throughout the track. She was just so solid. I couldn't set a click track against it, but it wasn't far off. The same with Pete Johns as well, but Valerie particularly. And for me, it was a perfect stealth collaboration because it's what I'm about. It's something visceral, something real, and it was one shot, and everything I did on top of it was one shot as well. The drum track that you watch is the drum track. The bass line is the bass line. It was one take. And again, I don't know whether people can hear it, but I think there's something bigger than the sum of its parts in it. It just comes across as something really good and really cohesive. And it really got me into this idea of you can do things that sound musically really cohesive and like they were done together by a band. And it doesn't matter what continent you're on or what DAW you're using or what plugins you've got. Doesn't matter. We can make it work.
Yeah, it's all just gear. It's shit. Yeah, Valerie's amazing. I can't praise her enough. Thank you, Cold Acre, for that super kind $20 super chat. Love you, mate. And Lilo as well for the 666 super chat. And Frank Terzo as well. Thank you, my friend, for the $5 super chat. You rock. Let's play this song. Valerie's just talented as all F and so sweet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, and
she's brilliant.
She's just so she just plays with ease. Like nothing looks hard.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's
I know,
beautiful
she's
to
so
watch.
comfortable on camera. How does she do it?
I know. I
should ask. I can't get my head around it. I don't know. I don't understand it.
She's
brilliant.
got it. Some people just
so
got it. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's play this, and we'll be back really shortly. Let's do it. Boom, ba boom, boom, boom.
My sweet, sweet time, my sweet, sweet time. I can't spare you 1 minute, baby. Every second's all mine. You gotta wait, 'cause I'm gonna take my sweet, sweet time. Ever since I was he said I moved too slow. They call me stuck in the mud. sweet, sweet
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, her performance was already amazing of it, clearly, but the arrangement that you added to it just, dude, like another level. Like, again, I have to say it again, another level. And I'm sure, like, it's interesting when somebody takes that and sends something to you like that. I'm sure she sat there and heard that for the first time when you just sent it to her out the blue and was just going, like,
Yeah.
I
I
guarantee
don't know.
she was doing it. I guarantee. I've been on the end of things like that. When you first sent me the drums to me in my brain, I was just, what the hell? What? It's one of the greatest gifts you can get. Really beautiful stuff. Right.
It's a bit odd for me to say. I never know what the reaction is going to be. You never know. Somebody might not like it, so it's always a bit. Ooh, you know.
I don't know.
So far, so good. No legal proceedings.
Well, you know, I think everybody here, I think you're my 94th or 95th interview. Everybody says the same thing, and not exactly the same words when we talk about the first question. What does music mean to you? It is everything. It's everything.
Yeah.
So when you give the gift of music, it's like, you know, it's like recently I did a song with Night Train, and just he wrote such an amazing song, and I bawled my eyes out through it. Recently, Mamsie wrote a song and sent that to me, and I bawled my eyes out. To receive something like that, it's hard to put into words what it actually means.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is. It is. It can have a big effect, can't it? That's
Absolutely.
the beauty of it. I love it.
Yep. I'm going to mention our sponsors for today. It is a bit over a halfway point. So, ladies and gentlemen, DistroKid kindly sponsor this show. That once a month we do this interview. So, and we love DistroKid. Why do we love DistroKid? Because many of you release your music through DistroKid, and if you haven't yet, well, it's time you do so. And I know Mr. Smith is one of those people who this year will be releasing music through DistroKid. And you can do it very easily and cheap for the first year, and cheap every year after, for $19.99 a year. And if you use my promo code up the top there, VIP Jade Starr, you will get 7% off your first year. And it is important to use that code because it sends to DistroKid that you like me, and they continue to sponsor these shows. So do it, please. If you are going to sign up, use my code. It does help. You've got a plethora of things here, of plans to sign up. But I'm going to talk briefly about this, my friends. This is DistroVid. And once you are, you can sign up to this without being a DistroKid customer, but it does help if you are one. And I've done this myself, so you can actually release videos and have them on your Apple Music page. Yeah, so on Vivo, Amazon Music, Tidal, and Apple Music. And trust me, it looks good when you go over to your Apple Music page and see your music and your video is there. Trust me, guys, it's a highlight. It does cost $99 per year to upload. You get a Vivo tag, so you get an official Vivo video tag, and it goes on the Vivo music channel. And all of the big artists, like we talked about, Peter Gabriel, he's got Vivo clips. Kylie Minogue, all the big artists have Vivo clips because they are the big distributor of a whole lot of music videos. So I can tell you, I've done it, and it's definitely worth your time to do it. So if you've got multiple artists like I do, I would have to have multiple of these, but I have Metheus signed up. But once you pay your $99, you can release heaps of videos, so to your band name. And I have the World Divided Metheus video clip. You can see here it was uploaded October 2nd, 2022. And just to give you an idea, if I quickly jump over here to my Apple Music page, how cool is this? I'm working on the fly. How do I spell Metheist? I don't even know. Metheist. That's not right. I've got to find Metheist like this. It's not. I'm looking for Metheist in Peter Gabriel. That doesn't work. Metheist. There we go. Metheist. So when I go to my page here, check this out. So we got there. It is right at the top. How wicked's that? There's my music video attached to my my Apple Music. So that is another great way to get engagement and get a whole lot more eyes on, because, you know, getting eyes on your music, it's not always about the music. You got to have a video these days. And if it's right there in front of people, it's only going to get more engagement. So that is DistroVid. Definitely worth your time. Check it out. And as Pete said in the chat there with DistroKid, this plan is the one to go for. Definitely gives you 2 artists. You may want to do some collabs. You get your main artist, your second artist. You get streaming stats daily, synced lyrics even now in Instagram, and so many more cool features up here. So many goodies and advertising tricks. It's just unbelievable. DistroKid is the bomb. And as I always say, I love you, DistroKid. Was that creepy? Good.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little.
I do, man. I you know, not only because they sponsor, I've been using them way before they sponsored this little rinky-dink show, you know, and it's been the best value. I've been on other distro labels, and man, getting that bill every year for $250 to have 5 albums out, it doesn't compare to paying, you know, a very small amount of $20 instead. So there we go.
For the record, I used your link as well for DistroKid. I've not released anything, but I used your link.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And that's exciting. So you've told me you're going to be releasing music soon. How soon are we going to have to wait for some Mr. Smith on Apple Music?
I'd say 2 months, about 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, I'd say.
Is it going to be an album? Because you're building up a collection of songs now.
No, I'm just going to release track by track. I'm a big, I do like albums myself, but I just think at the moment albums are getting lost in the mire and people are picking up on tracks. I think maybe later I'll put an album together that might include some of the tracks that have been released and then some others that have not been.
Yep.
But for the moment, I'm just going track by track, just basically to suit what you call the market, I suppose. Not that I'm aiming to really, I don't want to make any money off it. I'm not really bothered. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just like to have my music put onto these streaming platforms, and I don't do social media. I don't have anything. I don't use it. I only do YouTube. That's it. I do Discord to do collaborations with people, and I do YouTube. Nothing
You've got
else.
a SoundCloud. Oh, that's in the link too. I've got a SoundCloud for you as
SoundCloud,
well.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a SoundCloud, and that's, to be honest, that just sits quietly there for occasionally transferring things with people. But I don't work the channel. I don't work it. I'm not very good at selling myself, Jade, as you can see. It's not much of a sales pitch, this is. I look like I'm going to rob your house. You know? I look like I'm going to rob your house, or I'm going to a protest.
Dude, but that's marketing right there. Buy my album or we'll send the boys round. You know? It reminds me of a goodies episode for some reason. Buy our dishwashing liquid or we send the boys round.
Yeah, we're going to do you.
There's you with a bunch of other masked people behind. We're going to get to the mask. So I've skipped a whole bunch of questions today, and I want to find out about like how you started, like, because you are a multi-instrumentalist. There is no doubt about that. So was there an instrument when you were young that you gravitated to first, and not the recorder, hopefully?
Okay. Okay, I think this started everything.
Oh God.
So this, I don't know whether you can see that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that's the box. And
You've
then
still got it. Oh my God.
Yeah. My grandma bought me this when I was 4 years old.
Oh
She
my
bought it
God.
from Blackpool Pleasure Beach.
Pleasure.
And it's a proper little, I know there's no pleasure in it.
I've been to Blackpool, man, and there wasn't much pleasure there, let me tell you.
It's bad, isn't it?
Oh God, it was
Jade, it's
dreary,
bad.
man. I went there for an LGBT pride event. Oh God, it was dreary, man. Oh, get me out of there.
It's rough, isn't it?
It's
really rough.
The chippy was nice.
Oh, brilliant chips. Yeah, but everything else is just shit.
Anyway, sorry, I've taken you away from that beautiful little instrument there.
Oh, I'm glad you did. But yeah, I got this when I was 4, and apparently I just wandered around the house playing it. You know, it still doesn't tune up very well, but apparently I wandered around the house playing it. I wouldn't put it down. And then the moment I went to school, I was at the front of the school, basically singing in front of everybody just straight away. Apparently I wanted to be a singer. And then it got to the point where I needed to do my final exams. And a few things had happened along the way with singing, and I didn't feel confident with singing for my music exams. So I learned to play bass, basically. And that started me on bass. And then I was playing bass, and we formed a band, me and a couple of mates. We thought we were going to be the next U2. We're not.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. So we formed this band, and I'm the bass player. Anyway, we hated the drummer, and he hated us, which is pretty normal. So the drummer left, but we knew a friend who played bass. He came into the band and played bass, and I just said, I'll learn to play drums. So I learned to play drums. That was it. But I got help with it. Just a friend of mine who was a priest. He was the chaplain to the school, and he let me use his church every night for 2 years with my drum kit, and I took in my Rush CDs. And I chased Neil Peart for 2 years, 4 or 5 nights a week. I chased that man's coattails. I never caught them, but I chased him, and I came out after a couple of years being able to play the drums properly. And then I don't remember when I learned to play guitar. I have no recollection. Keyboards have always just been a part of things, but I'm not a pianist, but I know my way around. I mean, to be honest, if you give me a fishing rod, I can blow a tune out of it.
I'll hold you to that.
So, you know, I'm not particularly brilliant at it. It might not be the best tune in the world, but I think everything can be musical. You've seen it yourself, haven't you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I can do that and turn it into a drum track.
Yeah, absolutely.
Effective, you know,
yeah, I've recorded an album where we set a house on fire and we released it. An album of an entire house burning down, and we put it out.
Right, yeah.
We put reverb on it, and it was called House Fires and Electrical Faults. And people bought it, and then people contacted us going, "What is this shit?" It's like, it's exactly what it says. House fires and electrical faults, man. Like,
I love it.
You want avant-garde? We got avant-garde coming out the wazoo.
Yeah, good for you.
You know,
I love it.
Music's so subjective. It can be anything you want it to be.
This is it. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
As soon as you restrict yourself, yeah, that's when you're fucking up music, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all right, we've all got our personal loathings, yeah, but we don't have to take that into music with us, because to me, music is something similar to, you know, when you were a kid and you just used to get your crayons out and you just used to draw something or just draw a picture, and all right, maybe your mum would stick it on the fridge for a day, but by the next day it was in the bin and you'd be drawing a new picture. And you didn't care that your picture was in the bin, but you enjoyed the process of doing it. You love your crayons and you love the actual going through and doing the picture. And I think that's the bit. Just do it. Don't stop yourself. Don't limit yourself. Just do it. And then don't be too close to it as well. Get ready to let it go, because
that's hard.
When you can delegate things to other people and let somebody do things for you, quite often it'll end up better. You know, don't get me wrong. Figuring out who to do collabs with could sometimes be difficult because not everybody gels musically and not everybody's got the same idea. But I think if I was to give any advice for anybody in the community about doing collabs, talk to each other. Just talk to each other. If you've got an idea for something, give somebody an idea, but then let them run with it and see what they bring back. I guarantee you they'll come back with something beautiful. You know, just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
And it'll work.
Yeah, look, I wish I could take that advice. I'm doing my best every day to let things go, and I know I've set some goals this year. I've been working on an album for nearly 13 years, and this is the year I've got to release it. So it's ready to go, man. It's ready. It's 22 songs. It's like it's longer even than the Wolfstone studio album. All I've got to do is finish some vocals, and I've got a movie that I've been working on for 4 or 5 years, which is ready almost. And this year they're coming out. They're coming out this year 100%. But, you know, it is hard to let go of these things because you put so much in, And they do become like, I'm more attracted to that than any person at the moment. Like if I could fuck it, I would. But you know, it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I mean, say something, a quick one. So before, I think it was before I got involved with Pete Johns, in TraceStream, there's a guy called Millennial Animal. What a talent. What a talented songwriter. And he wrote this song called Stuck on Caps. And on TraceStream, when it was getting reviewed, he sent in a recording of him just on an acoustic guitar singing into his phone. So he recorded his acoustic guitar into his phone, and then over that, he put it into his computer and he put some keys on top of it. And then he sent that in to be reviewed. Well, I took that recording and did a stealth thing with it. I put backing vocals and drums and bass and stuff on it. Well, the recording that he sent in the first place was not good. It was off a phone. But the end product, wow. And it caused a reaction with people. People have loved it. A lot of people have loved it. And it's helped both Millennial Animal and myself. And it's because he was prepared to let it go and to let me do that with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't be afraid, people. Let's work together, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm terrible at collabs. I admit it. So I'm the worst because I know I get overcritical of everything. I'm going to play another song because you mentioned Pete Johns and I want to get this one in as well. So this was from your song Timber song that you did. You want to tell us a bit about this before I whack it on?
This was a very, very immediate song. This happened very, very quickly, and was what I would just call an open and honest response to a situation. I just shot from the hip and it fell out of me. It happened very, very quickly. I realize now that for Song Timber, I didn't realize that what I should have done was film the process of this. I didn't realize I should have done that. So for next time, I will be doing this. I will be showing people how I built the track and stuff. So that's why it doesn't exist for this one. But yeah, it just happened really fast. I got the inspiration and I just literally did it. It didn't take long at all.
I think that's why
why
it's
I
so
didn't bother
beautiful.
with full production.
That's why it works, though. It's simple, and again, we stress over so much. Let's just play it so everybody can hear it, and we'll be back very soon. Enjoy, folks. Let's do it. This is Playing for Time.
I'm not out to get to you like that. Just a part of me feels like I want to know you more. I couldn't give enough time to be more than just friends, but you inspire some kind of charge, like I've been plugged in. It's like static through my veins, like I've been plugged in. It's driving me insane. I want to know why I get the feeling we could achieve something together, or maybe just experience through time. Maybe I'm mad, I could eat you as if starved, but I'm not playing for you, I'm just playing for time. I'm just playing for time. I don't want to take something some man's taken before. Just a part of me feels like it wants to know you more. Couldn't give enough of myself to be more than your friend, but you inspire some kind of charge, like I've been plugged in. It's like static through my veins, like I've been plugged in. It's driving me insane. I want to know why I get the feeling we could achieve something together, or maybe just experience through time. Maybe I'm mad, I could eat you as if starved, but I'm not playing for you. I'm just playing for time. I'm just playing for time. I'm just playing for time. I'm just playing for time.
Gets me every time, that song.
Jade, bless you. Oh,
It's that
honestly.
line
The amount
playing.
of times you've made me cry, you have no idea. You have no idea.
It's
I
that-
bawled my eyes out to you before on the internet.
It's that
Bless you.
line, man, playing for time. It's so apt. It's so apt with what's going on in my life at the moment.
I hear you.
It's just
I hear you.
time's ticking, and yeah. Anyway, it's an incredible song. It's a beautiful song, and only matched by the song we're going to premiere at the end of this song, because that one knocked me out of the world. Again, you know, there's a lot of artists who I listen to on here that I sit behind the screen and cry all the time, and that's what you want. You're damn straight. If and you should you should be crying when you're writing songs too. Like when I write, like Me and My Brain, like that song. When I wrote that, even when I play it, I bawl my eyes out because I know where it's coming from. You know, I know it's like it's real. It's very real, and that stuff really should resonate. I know the question that's burning on everybody's lips, and I'm going to get to it now. Why the mask?
I'll keep it simple. I have a face for radio. How's that?
That's it, huh? That's it. There's nothing more.
No, it's, to be honest, yeah, that's a bit flippant. I don't know. How can I put it? Okay, I'm a great believer in music is supposed to go in through your ear holes, not your eye holes. So I do this on the basis of that. It doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter how many arms or legs I've got, or what color my hair is, or anything. It doesn't matter what clothes I'm wearing, anything. What matters is the music I produce and the music I produce with other people. That's it. You know, there's too many egos in the world. There's too much of this bullshit. There's too much of this superficial crap that we all need to get past. And we all need to, if you ask me, just treating each other as spirits, souls, entities, whatever you want to call it. Let's not get so fucking specific about stuff. Let's just forget who we are individually. Stop judging each other on the way you look or the way you walk or anything like that. Put that to the side. Just, it's about the music. Let's keep it to the music.
I love the chat. There's always a million smart asses in the chat, which I love, and I'm going to read out some of them. Where is it? I've lost it. I've lost the comment. Mick H says, "Okay, Mr. Smith, so how many arms and legs do you have?"
Tell Mick that my third leg is massive.
Chris Lane says, "You say that about hair, but..." No, look, and I agree. I love it. And, you know, anyone who's kind of sitting there going, "Oh, but, you know, you should show who..." Kiss did this, man. Kiss did this, and everybody was bugging to find out. And then as soon as Kiss took off their makeup, people went, "Oh,
Yeah,
really?
correct.
Really? Is that it?" You know, there's a streamer on YouTube too who's, I forget his name. He's been on YouTube for ages and he's never shown his face. He's been a gaming streamer for so long. And only like a month and a half ago, he showed his face and it was like the biggest thing. It nearly broke YouTube. And now that he's done it,
exactly.
the channel's gone down the toilet, man. It's Dream.
Yeah,
That's his
it's not-
name. Dream. Thanks, bro.
It's never, let's get this straight with everybody as well. It is never going to happen. I will always be on YouTube in a
Yes.
mask. Nobody will ever see it. Let's get it straight right fucking now. Yeah.
Awesome. Tism here in Australia, Pete's pointed out. Tism, they all wore balaclavas for the longest, they still do. And nobody knew who they were. And it gave them the freedom and flexibility to change lineups and have different guest people come in and do great stuff.
Yes.
There's so
Yes.
much you can do with having an identity like that, or a lack of identity. And at the same time, you say, hey, there's so many egos and stuff. At the end of the day, this is a fantastic marketing thing as well, too, without it being a marketing thing. Without it, this is not a planned thing. You're not doing this going, this will be great for marketing, No, but at the same time, there's that intrigue. And it's why I chose the title today, which is Every Profound Spirit Needs a Mask. And many people may not know where that came from. And you
Me included.
Didn't you know that?
Where did it come from?
Nietzsche.
No.
It's Nietzsche. So,
It's neat. What?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
I went searching. You got to try and come up with something interesting for a title about mask. I'm not just going to put something boring.
Fabulous. Wow, that's fantastic.
It actually took me half an hour to find that. I think I went through like 200, 300 quotes on masks and stuff. There's some really amazing masks, but they're all too long. So that one just worked.
Bless you. Thanks.
So where else can we go from here? Because we've talked about you being a multi-instrumentalist. Did you now? What I found interesting earlier, church, man. Why do I have so many artists on here who somewhere along the line have honed their skills in a church, and not necessarily from being religious people, but there's always seems to be some kind of church tied into it, where somebody learned to play music here, or it's fascinating. We never hear stories that the church is doing really good things for people, but helping people make music seems to be a thing the church does for some reason.
Well, the church gets a bad press for a start.
Yeah.
To be honest, because it's what we're talking about here. Effectively, it's just a community, and what happens is when you get a community of people together that are believing in the same thing or have got the same rough goals in mind, they automatically help each other. So, and I know a lot of people in every continent across the world are linked to some form of church or religion, and those communities just naturally help each other, especially because it is the word of God is love. So if we're not loving each other, we're getting it wrong. Whether you believe in God or anything like that doesn't matter, but it all comes down to just being nice with each other. I think the reason we've just hit 8 billion is because we are genuinely nice with each other.
We
so when you get
like
communities together, they help each other,
There's definitely not a shortage or problem of us like breeding. So we apparently we do like each other.
Yes. And I think if we all sit back and think about our lives and how many people have genuinely been evil or bad to us, the percentage is so small. It is. And it's hard. It's difficult sometimes to keep things in context with that. And, you can get as philosophical as you want over things, and not to brush anything off. But I think really people should just have a think of the masses in their life are genuinely kind and good-natured and want the best for them and would help in a crisis. And I think there are a lot of pressures from outside that try to take away that feeling from people. I'd say ignore that. Don't listen to them. Humans are genuinely good.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of us here watch a lot of YouTube. Like I'm 24 hours a day connected to YouTube. You said you don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch commercial TV. I watch a bit of WWE. I love my wrestling. I have my vices. I like watching men pretend to punch each other in tights. It's good fun. Hey, it's harmless, man. No one's getting hurt. Whatever.
It's a bit like watching Iron Maiden as well. It's not much different to Iron Maiden running around in tights.
I mean, they probably wear more spandex. But again, even like with wrestling, like people get so angry about it and go, but it's not real, that? And it's like, yeah, people aren't really like going out there wanting to maim each other. Like if you prefer the stuff where people are actually physically want to go out and cut each other open and smash each other's skulls in, have at it, man. But it seems weird to me than people pretending to do it. So, but again, like talking about television and the news cycle and all this stuff, we're constantly told to hate each other. It seems to be the thing. And I think that's why there's so many of us here who are able to get around that and support each other and not hate. And there's so many other channels you go to and you look at the comments and people are just, especially on Twitch, people are just so hateful. They go watch this streamer they love every day, but they just are attacking him going, you're going bald. It's like, what is wrong with you? You like this guy. You're there every day. Why are you not supporting him? It's funny how we react. We're odd creatures.
We are. I mean, I've noticed that the difference in communities is marked on YouTube. But in general, they're all really supportive of each other. Yeah. I think Twitch is a different animal.
Yeah.
To be honest, it really is. It's a little bit like, so you go to the swimming pool for the day, and then the next day you dropped off a ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. As YouTube's nice and safe and friendly, Twitch is just, oh my God, I'm alone at sea here. Yeah, this place is mad. I don't use it myself, but it seems a lot harsher.
It's a Wild West. Yeah,
it is. But I think the communities on YouTube are really supportive of each other. That's one thing I really have found. And as well, there's this, what seems, the moderators. So anybody who's a moderator for anybody's channel on YouTube, bless you. Bless you. You know?
Really?
Because, well, everybody needs some help with some stuff. I mean, some mods are a pain in the arse, as we know sometimes. But the bulk of it is just genuine people helping each other to do something and make the world a nicer place. Nice one. Bless you all. Because without the moderators, these communities wouldn't be as nice and wouldn't be as safe for people to be in as well. Because we all know that we all bring problems to the table quietly, you know, in our pockets or wherever you keep your problems. And these communities serve to help us feel good. So amen to anybody, bless you to anybody who helps. So all the moderators, nice one from Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I love my moderators. I never tell them what to do or just do whatever makes you happy. And if they want to start like putting each other in timeouts and whatever, the chat to me is like, go have fun, like do whatever you want. Even if you're bored with whatever the hell I'm doing, whatever millionth app I'm showing off, millionth synthesizer for the millionth time, just go and have fun over there and don't be shit to each other. But and another good thing too, like I'm glad you bring that up about the mods. I started out as a mod. I've modded for so many channels. It's a really good way. Yeah, I think I'm a moderator in like 29 channels. I was a moderator in like a really big wrestling channel where I'd have to moderate like at times over 10,000 people with a few other mods. And it's crazy. But what it does, I think it really helps you build up your own channel and understand how things work. And it helps you people get to know who you are. So when you start a channel, people know who you are and they know what you're doing. It's a really good way to dip your toe in and help your channel, be better and get more people. Like I modded for Pete for ages and then just stole all of his people. It's not true. It's not true at all. Love
at
you,
least
Pete.
You're honest.
I still mod for Pete. God, I'll always be Pete's slave. I'll do whatever he wants me to do, except for that thing. Yeah. That thing.
Except for that one thing. Yeah.
That one thing that he always asks me to do. No, it's not true at all. So I want to ask this because we're really out of time. We've only got like what have we got? 13 minutes. It goes so fast. This shit.
What?
I know, man. What the hell? So what's your go-to? What is your gear set up there for recording? What's the process for you putting together a song? You've got the wonderful desk there. Tell us about your chain and the software that you use.
Okay. So it probably a little bit different to everybody who is in the community through yourself. I don't use Apple products and I don't use any apps at all to record. I have a large mixing desk with multi-in sound cards, and 95% of the instruments on all my recordings are played with an instrument. Everything is done for real. If I want a hand clap, it's my hands clapping. So in that sense, it's not very app-based at all. I will show you my favorite app, though, if anybody wants to see it. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. I'm just showing this video that you sent me with has all your gear in it as well, and then we'll pop over to you.
Got you.
There you go.
Well, this is my favorite app. Yeah. That's my
That's
my metronome.
Man, that's a big app. Where do you get one of those these days? That looks old, that app.
And then, if I'm really honest, when I am working as well, these are essential. Wireless in-ear monitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just essential. But my software is Cakewalk Sonar.
Nice.
And then I use Waves plugins mainly. I have pretty much everything that Waves has ever done. I'd swear by the Waves. In fact, I would say that with the Waves reverb and the Waves SSL channel strip, you can produce an album for a band and you don't need anything else. Not only that, I've done it. You only need the two things. Apps are something that I use Fruity Loops as well. So because quite often I do use some digitized drums or some programmed drums or more sequencing, if you like, than drum work. But I use Fruity Loops for that because it's just so the interface is so user friendly. I know Thomas Christ is a massive exponent of Fruity Loops.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. It's really easy to work with. It's really forgiving, and it can produce results very quickly. But it's a fully operational DAW as well, if you want it to be. So that's about it, really. And everything is done real with outboard rack effects and stuff like you're seeing.
Yeah.
EQs, noise gates, compression on the way in. But most of it is done simply, Jade. I tend to do it real. I tend to like things to just be real. I don't like processing things too much. It's funny. I come to your shows quite often, and I'm watching it, and there's something going, and it's going on like that for 20 minutes or so, and it just doesn't mean anything musically to me. However, for the people in the communities that don't play instruments like myself, this is why I come to your shows, because I love seeing the fact that people who are not musical like me or other people can still produce music. I mean, look at what. So Gregory O'Sullivan, take Gregory O'Sullivan. He's just done a track with a synth vocal, an AI synth vocal track. Oh, come on. It's fantastic. And Gregory, as far as I'm aware, doesn't play any instruments and stuff, but the music he can still produce using all these apps and stuff is just as listenable as anybody else's. So this is one of the reasons why I come to your show, even though I don't use Mac and I don't use any of the apps and stuff. I like to see what people are doing with it. And I love to see the fact that people are enabled by this stuff. It's magical. It's just really cool. It's a great leveler. And
so just want to pause it here. And I think looking at this kit, and I see all the mics around your kit, and I just want to touch on this. These, if you pay attention to this video, all of these mics here have been weathered and used and abused, and they've been around for a time, right? And what this should remind you guys is you don't need to go out and buy every fucking new microphone that comes out, right? Buy something good and look after it. Absolutely look at this mic here. You know this thing is a motherfucking beast. This thing, I don't even know what kind of mic that is right there. Yeah, keep it simple. There we go.
Get yourself an SM57. Get yourself an SM58.
Yep, it's always next to me. This is always next to me on my desk.
Yeah, Beta 57A, something like that. Again, just simple. Don't get complicated. Don't do it. Don't get taken in by it. You don't need it. An SM58 was built in 1958, and it's still the industry standard today.
You can drive a car over this, and it'll still work.
Yes,
you could drive a truck over it, and it'll still work. It might be a bit dinged and stuff, but these are hard to destroy. I've tried to destroy one.
I'm a bit dinged, and I'm hard to destroy as well.
Aren't we all? But yeah, absolutely. Like the gear. I mean, it's one of the things you hear all the time. All the gear, no idea. Like,
Oh, yeah.
find the things
yeah.
that work and stick with them, and just, you don't need all the newest things. That's why I try not to do a lot of new gear on the show, because I spent a whole lot of time building this studio to get all the gear that I wanted, and now I have it all. There's nothing else I really need in here. Like, everything is here. Before I started this channel, I had 2 guitars and an iPad. That was pretty much it. And now I have a fucking whole studio, and I still use none of it.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah,
Use
sounds
none
about
of it.
right.
So it doesn't matter. Use what you got, and not what you think you need. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, so take something like a reverb. So you're going to produce your track and you think, oh, which reverb shall I get? Well, don't go on the App Store and look for the latest reverb. Just go to one and put some reverb on, because I'll tell you this. There are very few ears in the world that can tell which reverb you used. In fact, I don't think there are any. Yeah, there are none. Yeah.
Never read a review. That album was great. They used it. Fucking Rolling Stone just reviewed a new album. They're like, and you know why it's so good? In that chorus, they use black hole reverb.
Exactly.
No, never, never.
But they were paid by Black Hole Reverb to put it into the review. It's just a nonsense.
And it's interesting reviewing apps, because there's so many of them. And I like I say on my show, I'm not telling you go get every one of these. I'm showing you so you make a choice. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm trying to show them so you make a choice. You make the choice that works for you. That's the most important thing. We are at the end, and we've got to get out of here because Pete's show's coming out. He's got Thomas Christ on. I'm going to hit you with the last question, and then we're going to go out with this premiere. Mr. Smith, if somebody is considering becoming creative, when would be the best time you suggest them to start?
I would say to them that they're already doing it. If you can imagine something in your head, you are creative. You can do it. So do it right now. Don't stop. Don't let anything get in your way. Go and do it. Just do it now. There are the tools out there to help you. There's communities out there to help you. There are people out there to help you. And there's every app under the sun, from Jade on How to App, sponsored by DistroKid.
Thank you. Cha-ching. I want to thank you for coming on here. We could talk for hours, and hopefully you'll hang on the end of the line so we can have a chat afterwards. I want to thank everybody here for being in the chat. You guys are always amazing. You keep the shows flowing, and you make awesome music. You continue to support each other. You're fantastic. Yeah, continue to do it. We're going to have a great year in 2023. Got lots of amazing people coming on the show and some new things coming up. Thank you, Mr. Smith. All the links, the 2 of them, they're down below. You can find him on Discord as well. Pretty easy, Mr. Smith, and to do some collabs. And we're going to go out with a premiere of a brand new song now. Folks, I'm very privileged because Mr. Smith has very recently made a deal with the devil, and I'm mastering all of his songs now, it seems. And it's I want to make sure they're good. So this song's about to be released on YouTube, and we're going to play it now. Tell us a little bit about it. It only goes for 2:53, so give us a quick synopsis and we'll get out of here.
Okay, a quick synopsis, right? So quite often people write songs about things to do with themselves. This is not. This is outside of myself. I had a friend who was confused about their sexuality. Took a long time being single because they didn't know what their sexuality really was. Eventually, they came out as lesbian, but then they were too frightened to get involved into any of the communities or to actually see anybody. And I wrote a song from the perspective of that person, but I wrote it from my side of things. So if it was me, what's this like? And basically, this person was, everything to them was just this big gamble that was too big to take. They didn't want to risk themselves personally. So that's what this song's about. This is about the risk that you have to take if you want to love. You have to take the risk. Let it go. Take the risk. You'll get hurt, but it'll be all right in the end.
On that note, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And remember, we'll all rise together. Love you, Mr. Smith. Love you all. Let's do this.
Thanks, Jade.
Get
Love
the
you.
hell out of here. Boom.
If I was a gambling man and I bet on you, would I lose? Would I lose? If I was a running man and I ran a race for you, would I win? Would I win? If I was a righteous man and said my prayers for you, would they come true? Would I lose? If I was a braver man and asked to be with you, what would you choose? Would I lose? Would you ever let me hold you, keep you warm when nights are cold? Would you balance up my scales or be the fish that I have caught? Will you always be alone to live your life upon a shelf, or gamble your hopes on me? If I was a music man and wrote a song for you, would you be moved? Or would I lose? If I had an artist's hands and drew the sun for you, would you choose the moon? Would I lose? If I was a wealthy man and gave it up for you, would I lose? Would I lose? If I was an open man and chose to let you in, would I win? Would I win? Would you ever let me hold you, keep you warm when nights are cold? Would you balance up my scales or be the fish that I have caught? Would you always be alone to live your life upon a shelf, or gamble your hopes? Would you gamble your hopes on me? We'll all rise together.
Pete Johns is up next, folks. I will bounce you. I'll dump you over there. He's got Thomas Christ on doing the podcast. And I'll see you on the weekend with Rob and Cheyenne performing live. Much love to you all.
You make me shine better. When the night is cold.